Hi everyone, I'm Ronan Unchained. Welcome to the Syndicate, a new Star Wars podcast that I started, and this is the second episode, and it's right after Chapter 4 of the Book of Boba Fett. And I had to invite a friend of mine who likes Star Wars as well and has his thoughts about it, and I want to see what his side of it and how he does it. Let's welcome Logan Swish. Logan, welcome to the show.
Well, hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, man.
First and foremost is spoilers for this episode. For The
Yeah.
Gathering Storm, it's spoilers. We recommend, or at least I will recommend, watch the episode before you
Of
hear
course.
our thoughts about it,
Yes.
and then come back and see us. So, as if you've seen it, if you don't know, I did a reaction/review. You can go check it out. But I dug this episode. I think it's my favorite of the series thus far. It really dialed up to the mafia vibes. But Logan, what did you think of this new episode?
I mean, I definitely agree with you that this is my favorite episode so far. I mean,
All right.
this is the most well done I've seen it, and it was kind of sad because I didn't figure out till afterwards that this was not directed by Robert Rodriguez, which
No.
is very interesting. But no,
Yeah.
I'm one of the big problems I've had with the series so far is I haven't cared for the flashbacks that have been such a massive part of it.
Right.
But this one, it was a lot of flashback, but at least it was about and with Fennec Shand, who
Yes.
I care about.
Yeah.
And so, I was actually interested in the story that it was telling. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely the best episode so far. And I'm interested to see what the story is going because where it ends, I mean, it's hitting at some crazy stuff going on. So I'm definitely interested. But overall, I mean, this is the best episode by far.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that it's interesting because I dig nonlinear storytelling.
Sure.
To me, the thing that it's a back and forth where I dug how they use flashbacks in the first two episodes,
Yeah.
and I love the mythology of the Tusken Raiders. I dig that. I dig that we're expanding on it.
Yeah.
But I came into this show for Godfather, for The Sopranos of Star Wars. That's what I came in
Sure.
for the show. And although I've dug the Tusken Raiders and I'm heartbroken that they majority of them got killed, by that point I was like, all right, let's go with it because I was afraid now whenever we see him in the back of the pod, I'm like, oh, here's flashbacks. Okay, is it gonna
Mhm.
be for the 75% of the episode? Is it gonna be for like a quarter
Yeah.
of it? What's it gonna happen? Last week's episode had the most elements that I dug the most, meaning the mafia stuff,
Sure.
but it was paced weird and too quick. By the time it ended, I was just like, wait, we just got the rhythm of this episode.
Yeah.
And this episode doesn't have the mods, the kids, if you will, who are
Mhm.
modified. Which I'm gonna say this out of the way, they don't bug me. Yes, the Power Ranger element it's there, and I can see it. When they say they don't have money, I just look to the left and be like, well, why are you riding this, Corvette, if you will? But
Yeah.
that's my take. People keep saying that Boba's not as ferocious as we saw him in Mandalorian, and I think if we would have just seen that, we would probably gotten bored by it, but by a certain point. But I like that he's restrained and he's doing his best to keep the peace, but he knows war is inevitable, and he's teasing and he wants the best people around him, whether it
Sure.
be these kids or Fennec as a right hand woman, and even to the point of getting Black Chrysanthemum, which I knew the minute they let him go that that's not the last we're gonna see him. If you don't bring in
Sure.
a character that A, he's a Wookiee. So people flip the F out that it was a Wookiee.
Yeah.
And B, you don't let that character either die or go off and be like, oh, we'll see him maybe next time. It's like, no, 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 no. You should
Yeah.
know that by now. Do you think that how Jesus, how Boba's going about his family business, are you with it or are you expecting something different? Because people are also again mixed on like we want barbarian Mando, and it's like he's been adamant. I'm not a bounty
Sure.
anymore. I'm trying to run
Right.
a family.
So I like that idea a lot because
Yeah,
that is the Godfather aspect of it. Is
yeah,
I mean, hey, this is about my family. You want to mess with my family type thing. I
yes,
dig that because that is where, when executed correctly, you get the massively aggressive barbarian. You mess with the family once I have it,
mm-hmm.
it's going to be not fun for you. I think execution hasn't been as strong yet because the biggest problem I've had so far is we have not had a ton of present day story
Yes,
in the 4 episodes. So I mean, I
yeah,
haven't got to really get there. So I wish that maybe I wish the Tuscans got to stick around more and kind of become like, can you imagine if the Tuscans got to become a part of the family,
Yes.
staying in the palace, things like that, just to kind of bring that story back around? Because I hate to say it, but I kind of feel like, we wasted 3 episodes with them for them to just get
Interesting.
killed because now
Interesting.
they're
Yeah.
gone and there's nothing to do with them anymore. And now we're going to go to war with these other people. And so it's just a weird setup of, bring them back around instead of just wiping them all out. I think could have been kind of cool or at least to the point of maybe don't wipe them out. And once Boba takes control of the city, then the city and the Sands can kind of, have a good
Coexist.
relationship.
Yeah.
And like that could have been cool if him and the head guy with the big staff and the Tuscans were, hanging out together, drinking in their little melons, their black melons.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think once he gets going on that, it'll be good. I just think the problem right now is the family. What will serve the family well is when we get to know them all and they're all characters. Because as of right now, we didn't even get any of the kids, the mods,
Yeah.
in this episode. And besides that, only 2 of them have said words.
Yes.
And so it's, hey, make them a part of the family and we'll feel for that. Because as of right now, the family is him, Fennec, and some pigs. And like, and I dug them. Like I dig the pigs or the brawn, and here they are. But like, make us love the family. And then
Yeah.
when somebody goes for the family,
We
it's game
got it.
over, and we're
Yeah.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I like the Godfather feel once we really get to feel it, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking even now because I saw it like 2 times now, and I was like, I'd be shocked if nobody betrays him by the
Oh
time we
yeah,
get to the
yeah,
finale, and B, I would be shocked if somebody of the Tuscan Raiders, whether it be another tribe or even the female like parkour lady,
sure.
if she returns and whatnot, if she survives somehow,
Yeah,
that would be a waste because that's the one thing I've been saying from the beginning is that I think there will be a showdown of his family against the Pikes,
yeah,
and he will need the help from the Tuscans, and he will make a pact with them, be like, "You will have the Dune Sea. I just help me get these guys off the planet, and you get this. You get the desert. I'll handle the cities and whatnot."
right.
And I mean, even to the point, and I wonder if people listen to the music as well, and we'll talk about the ending music. The dinner scene, I could have swore I heard some Godfather, like a
Oh
rhythm or
yeah,
two of it.
that's
I'm like,
definitely what they're going for.
yeah, they're pulling the strings, and I love that he used the Rancor to sort of. He didn't have to say a thing. It's just like,
Right.
why don't we just kill you? Boom! The
Yeah.
table starts flipping out. It's like that's why. Don't fuck
Mhm.
with me like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. I mean, no, it's I could definitely see because I like what he says too, where I think Fennec even says, like, do you think they'll hold up the end of their bargain? And he's like, I think they'll act in their best interest. And I think they understand that they don't want the Pikes to control this planet because they'll also take over their stuff. So I could even see it to where do we have like an end of Rise of Skywalker moment where all these guys that are sitting at this table have to bring their troops because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, the Pikes are about to wreck his shop. I mean, so I could see something like that happening where the family that he gets isn't big enough to start yet. So I'm interested to see that because that one guy was an asshole
Yeah,
at
the
the table.
Bulldogs, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, bulldog dude. I mean, he was a jerk. So I mean, I could see him, maybe being the one that doesn't show up,
Yeah.
but or the one to be the obvious one to backstab. But yeah, I'm hoping that I'm interested to see what this family. How are you gonna fight a war with like 7 people?
Yeah.
Like that's where it's gonna be interesting to see what they're going for.
Yeah, I'm already calling it that I'm calling I think Crimson Dawn from Solo will be the main bad guys in the shadow.
Oh,
Uh I call B that if people are be like, we want Boba like in Mando, whatever, they'll be like, all right, he's gonna get betrayed in either in episode 6 or 5, and he's gonna go full on that, and then by the end of it, he might get propelled again, and then what's gonna happen?
sure.
He's gonna ride a Rancor. That's gonna be paid off. Then
Hmm.
Trejo's gonna be in the background, like giving the thumbs up. We'll be like, "Yeah, he figured it out." And then everyone's gonna be like, "Shit, he could ride a Rancor." Never mind.
Yeah,
I don't want that
yeah.
business. So that's what I'm predicting. And I gotta admit that in any of these episodes, anytime we were with Jennifer Beals and that sanctuary, I just had a Joker ass grin. I was just like, "This is why I came to for this show. I want to see those weird aliens, playing music and people gambling, and then." Somebody starts a fight, somebody gets killed, somebody makes a drug, deal right here and whatnot.
Yeah. No,
And
when that for some reason that scene rubbed me the wrong way, and I think I'm just being weird about it, to be honest. But for some reason, I got the vibe of like, why did when you bring in, into at least live action, you bring in the first black Wookiee,
Mm.
and he just angrily gets pissed off and rips a guy I'm like, that is the most stereotypical racist shit I've ever seen. I was like, it made it,
Heyo.
and like she even like is like, hey, let's calm down. Like, there's no reason for this. Like, we all know you're a badass. You're good. And he's like, screw this anyway, and goes, and rips his arm off. I'm like, this looks bad on Boba because Boba let him out. Boba had him. He could have
Yeah.
been a part of the family right then. Hey, I'll pay you. Just stick around. No, go walk off. And then he just goes and starts ripping up civilians' arms. It's like, man, come on. Like, I just felt that was weird, but like that place, it's meant to flip the vibe on its head of like, as soon
Yes.
as you walk into that place, you're put off guard. And so it's
Yes.
funny to have him. He was just in there pissed off from the get-go. And he's just like, I'm
Yes.
just waiting for somebody to have too much damn fun in here. I'm gonna ruin their day. It's like
Y-
by ripping his arm off, like that's a little harsh, bud. But okay,
Yeah.
do your thing.
Yeah, that's where I think, and I could be wrong. So for any hardcore fans just like me or out there, be like that. That's the one thing I've remember from canon, which might be a deep lore, where it was like Wookiees and Trandoshans, which that was the
Yeah,
species of those guys have always butted heads and whatnot.
sure.
So I figured it was either that he just hates Trandoshans, or he's that one guy at a bar who's just drinking too
Just
much, had too
yeah,
much beer, just
exactly.
like fuck this, I don't want to see happiness with it. But I love that Jennifer Beals' Garza Whip, Lady Garza. She was the one to calm him down and be like, even Boba says, you tried it. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think the fact that you calmed down a Wookiee that was in a pissed off mood, that's a
yeah,
miracle. But
sure.
he was just like, no, I'd rather pay the bill than let this guy off, and I'll throw his arm off. Why not?
Yeah, for sure. Um,
Um,
the only other thing I wanted to kind of bring up that we actually have got to see one moment, and it was awesome in this episode where, hey, you mess with my family, and you'll see what happens. And that's when he absolutely destroys the biker gang.
fish in a barrel.
And
Yep.
exactly, and it's like that part shows you like here's your Boba Fett moment of what you're expecting.
Yeah.
And it's because like yeah, he's trying to go for peaceful, he's trying to have a family, he's trying to, protect the people around him that he cares about. Here's what happens if you mess with them. And
Right.
he's like no remorse, like literally fish in a barrel. Like you could say that was the most dishonorable way to deal with that because he even came up behind him. It's not about that at that
No.
moment. I had my people. You killed them all. You are now going to die,
Yeah.
guaranteed. And so it was nice to see that because also the biker gang, we didn't care about them. So it's not like, oh, we just took them out in 5 seconds. Like that was so dumb. No, they were meant to be fish in a barrel. Like, is it weird that they killed all the Tuscans because the Tuscans are badasses? And I think that there are some other people behind taking the
That.
Tuscans out?
Yeah.
I do. So I think he might learn maybe some people that he's closer to also were involved with that. Um, I don't know, but
I'd be pissed if Fennec is behind this. That'd be
see,
so
no,
heartbreaking.
I don't know if it's Fennec. I think it's more so. I think they're going to go for the vibe of the mayor and
Yes.
that kind of stuff because that they're obviously some secret assholes
Right.
running around there.
And we saw him already. Like they show that scene with the biker gang messing with those two, that couple. Which for any hardcore fans, those were the same canon characters from the
Right.
deleted scene of A New Hope. So the fact that we already saw that gang messing with those two couples, it was like, all right, they had it coming. They
Yeah.
had it coming, and it's I love you said it perfectly. Where it's like if anybody's complaining about I want Boba. It's just like there it is.
Yeah.
This is an arc. This is an evolution of the character. But if you point, if you point the bear in the wrong spot, he will flip like that.
Yeah.
And I dug. For me from just the visual perspective, I love the scene with the Sarlacc pit. The fact that he will go back to hell, which literally the pits of hell where he stood, just to get his armor back, and the fact that there was
Yeah.
a cool action sequence with the fire, whatever that shit, whatever Slave
The
One is now called.
yeah. The badass weapon that it has that everybody
Yes,
loved it from Mando, and the
yeah,
fact that we get to see it again in a cool way. Yeah, visually that scene is really. I got Independence Day vibes when
Yes.
they're in the ship and it's like all dark and they're like close the doors, and
Yeah.
like that scene, I got those vibes. But I will admit, so like first thing, my cousin, so that's what I was talking about. We were talking about Peacemaker off camera, but like my
Yeah.
cousin and I see eye to eye on a lot of things, and so he texted me as soon as I tweeted that, oh, I've seen episode 4, whatever. He texts me, he's like, okay, I can now talk to him about spoilers. Like he knows I've seen it, and he was like, why did he go? Did he just forget that he got out of the Sarlacc? Like, why did he think the armor's in there? I was like, it's a great question. And, also, why not just kill the Sarlacc? Because it's like, hey, fuck this guy. He ate me a long, like years ago. It's like, no, I'm just going to kill him and then I'll look inside. Like, you could have saved yourself some trouble there. But visually, I think that scene was really well. It was cool to see Slave One. They call it Slave One.
I still call it. I mean, yes, there's a
Yeah,
name. If
but
that's the new name, let it be. I grew up on Slave One. I don't think
yeah,
that's pointing a finger at anybody or throwing anyone in the
no,
wrong path. That's just how I grew up with it.
yeah. But seeing it like he's like, hey,
Tilted. Yeah.
strap in, and like goes like that was so cool to see that it can do that, and like
Yeah.
it's just standing still and having Fennec unhook and like have to stand on the glass and all that.
Yeah.
That was a cool scene.
Well, speaking of Mando and of hearing that device at Mando, I don't know if a lot of people. I've seen a lot of fellow YouTubers and reactors who go through the ending, and then some people don't catch the music cue, and some do. I caught it. I flipped. If
Yeah,
you look
no,
at my reaction,
immediately.
I flipped the f out. I was just like,
Yeah,
"That's the Mandalorian thing." Like
yeah,
that's. And then we've been hearing from the original trailer. We thought we heard Pedro Pascal's voice, the mayor, and I mean, it would be you don't throw in that music cue just for
oh
the
yeah,
heck of it. Like you
sure,
intend to either communicate with Din Djarin and Bo and the rest of the Night Owls, or you just effing with the fan base. I think somehow they'll come into play, but I think they won't get too involved. Or if they do get involved, this is just my prediction, and you tell me what you think of it. My prediction is that he will hire them, and in return, he'll because my big thing is that Mando. The thing with these stories is that they're gonna go for Mandalore, the planet. They're gonna go for the revolution, and the big thing in their way is Thrawn. Either
correct,
that or that's a
yeah,
background thing. And so my thing is that probably Din and Bo will team up with Boba, and in return, Boba will help them out with their revolution in some capacity, whether it be lending someone in there or money wise. I don't know,
yeah.
but I think Pedro Pascal and Katie Sackhoff probably are coming down this way. It would be a missed opportunity after that cue. What do you think?
No, I definitely agree because to the point of people not catching the music cues. First of all, it's good on the Mandalorian show having iconic theme to where you immediately pick up on it. Really,
Mm-hmm.
if you're a fan, you do, and
Mm-hmm.
even to the point of in the flashback when
Yes.
I mean they play on that before, so you hear it early when they're doing the flares, and you remember the
Yeah.
flare scene, and you're like, oh yeah, and then that's when he finds Fennec, and so they do that, and then they bring it back. So yeah, I mean it is definitely he is going to contact the Mandalorian, just
Right.
straight up for sure. Now the question is, I'm trying to remember specifically, why did Boba help Din in season 2? Because will them coming into this show be them repaying him, or will he have a debt to then repay for them later down the line? That's kind of where I'm at, because I almost felt like they'll be like, hey, you helped us out, you know, in the showdown of season 2. We'll come help you out with this, hire us, basically, is, that's especially, I mean, for Din, it's like, yeah, you can hire me and I'll come absolutely wreck shop for you. So
So from season 2, it was that Boba wanted the armor, and Din was just like, not gonna happen.
right,
And he was just like, I'll do this. Your son Grogu will be protected as long as you give me the armor. And then Grogu gets kidnapped, and all that's left is
right,
the armor. And that's when they say, "Oh, you are a foundling. Your father was a foundling. Okay, this belongs
yeah,
to you." And that's when Boba says, "Well, I told you that as if you give me the armor back, I will your child will be protected. So until your son is returned to you safely, we're in your debt." So that's why they team up, and that's
yeah,
why Fennec and them team up. And then after that, I imagine they went their separate ways.
yeah,
So I agree with you that that was there was a relationship right there. There was a
yeah.
friendship right there built that one of them had each other back and were willing to pay each other's debt. And now this one will be the same thing, where it's like Boba is like, all right, I'm trying to make a play for Tatooine.
Yeah.
I trust you guys. We fought before together. Can you help me out? And if you help me out, if you ever need help, I'll be there for you. If you need transportation, whatever, I'm there.
Yeah.
So I could see Mando and Bo looking at each other and be like, well, he did help us last time. We can kind of trust him. He's a foundling. Me and him have that
Right.
in common. We have that honor code. You want to go for Mandalore? The more help we get, the more chance we might have of winning that. So I
Sure.
think that's going to be
No, I
definitely.
really I like what you're going off of there, because even to the point of more than likely season 3 of Mandalorian won't even get to that point yet. It'll probably be because Ahsoka needs to deal also with Thrawn
Yes.
and Ezra and all of that. So then I think by the time you get, season 5 of Mandalorian, Battle of Mandalore type of thing, and you could have all these payoffs, bringing Ahsoka back, bringing Ezra back, bringing
Yeah.
Boba over, all of, everyone that are Boba's troops on Tatooine can come help because they're, that he's the boss. We're
Yeah.
all going kind of thing if they wanted to. And it's an Avengers Assemble type of moment where they're like, everybody on Mandalore, let's go. So I like that idea a lot, because the honor code thing, that's what it almost seems like a thing of Din Djarin might have made Boba realize, like, hey, I'm a foundling of Mandalore. Like, we're supposed to be honorable here, kind of thing. Because, obviously Din was a bounty hunter as well, but he
Yeah.
had a change of heart and kind of, oh, I might need to change my ways a little bit. So definitely something to think about. I like that idea a lot, where it's just we'll eventually get, Thrawn in the, the beginnings of the First Order
Right.
against all of these, hood rats in a lot of ways. And let's hope they win.
I
Because
hope so, man. I hope from what we got of the sequels and how this still time period of 30
yeah,
years, it's open to that. And oh man, I'm wondering what else they have up their sleeve, because a lot I've seen of what I've seen is a lot of people dug this episode and just like, all right, what? Yeah, Bubba's 100% healed. We got
yeah,
that out of the way. What to come?
yeah. Because I mean, only thing I will say, because this was what my cousin said. He said this episode is the best episode. He said, but I wish that the most excited I've been wasn't for a different character showing up. He was like, I wish it wasn't. I'm excited for Mandalorian to come in here, because can you imagine Mandalorian showing up? He's got the dark saber.
Yes.
He's going to be cooler to watch than Boba. Until he gets on the Rancor, and starts
Right.
munching on people. I bet that's pretty awesome. But like,
Yeah.
so it is interesting. We'll have a guy with a jetpack with the dark saber flying around. So I almost wonder if he'll say no, like, I'm busy, or something, and I'll send somebody else, and maybe we get some of the other, Sasha Banks,
Yeah.
like she'll come, and maybe another random guy. It's like you'll have some Mandalorians that are amazing fighters, but like I can't show up or something. But he'll make a cameo over the telecom thing.
Hologram.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree, man. I agree. And we have to wrap it up, folks. This will do for this episode of the Syndicate. Logan, where can the people find you?
Well, yes, sir. First, you can find me on Twitter, Logan_Swish. I tweet a bunch of stupid shit. And also over there on YouTube, Logan Swish. I'd appreciate your subscription. It's awesome to be here. Thank you so much.
And check him out at the Film Cave podcast with our
Yes.
friend John Knight every Tuesday, right?
Yes.
That's fun. It was fun talking to you, man. It was fun talking to you.
Same, man. Anytime. I'm down to come back on.
Right on. Folks, if you have any theories, if you had any thoughts about this episode, please feel free to comment down below. Let's grow it out more. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I'll see you next time.